Welcome to After Wine School, the podcast that demystifies wine and makes it approachable for everyone. Join Keith Wallace and Alana Zerbe, two of the nation's leading wine experts, as they uncork everything you need to know about wine, from picking the right bottle to mastering unforgettable food and wine pairings. This isn't about stuffy lectures or confusing jargon. It's about enjoying wine the way it's meant to be. So grab a glass and let's dive in. Don't forget to subscribe to After Wine School today.
Hello, folks. Welcome to After School, the wine podcast.
Okay. I'm Alana Zerbe, the Director of Wine Education at the Wine School of Philadelphia, and joining me is Mr. Keith Wallace, the founder and director of the Wine School of Philadelphia. Now, we are sponsored by the National Wine School, the premier online education body, and the legal disclaimer,
Please.
as always.
Okay, what is it?
The views and opinions expressed here are purely our own and should not reflect the views and opinions of our own business or any other business.
And that's coming from someone who... one of the best wine instructors I know, also former lawyer. And apparently I've said some things on this podcast that probably I shouldn't have.
Indeed. Indeed.
It's not surprising.
And it will happen again.
Oh, it's going to happen every time.
Happen.
The question is, what am I going to say? And I don't even know it. Apparently, some people do like tweet out or X out, certain things I've said, not just here, but actually in class. And apparently there's people who actually want to start t-shirts. But, I said, please don't do that.
No swag. No swag. So, Keith, today I have a question to ask you.
I don't want to know what it is.
You do.
No, I don't.
It's actually one of your favorite things to talk about.
Oh, me?
Yes.
Oh, excellent. So I was born into a very waspy family back in 1825.
Okay.
I've aged very well.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank you. So this is a great podcast. I
Is
love
that the
this.
wine? That's amazing.
It's the wine. It's also just my general outlook in life.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, you seem teed up perfectly to talk about terroir.
Oh, come on. That's a setup. It's my least favorite word. It's my least favorite word. So one of the things I do in class, and if you ever take a class with me, especially if you're in a small A class with me, one of the first things I do is I basically line everybody up. Everyone's sitting, well, actually they're sitting in their seats, but I do ask everybody to repeat after me. Terroir is bullshit. Terroir is bullshit. Now, because it is. Caveat, 98% of the time, 99.9% of the time, I'll even go that far that terroir is bullshit. Here, okay, let me back up for a second, okay? Maybe you should
settle in here.
Yeah. Actually, how about you? Would you like to define terms for us? What is terroir?
Sure.
What's the classical definition of terroir?
Well, I like Matt Kramer. Old school, his definition of terroir is when a wine has a somewhere-ness. It speaks of a place.
Okay.
It's not generic. It can't be mass-produced. It's the unique stamp of a region and its climate, precipitation, sunlight, drainage, everything that happened in this small little place in 1 year. That's what the wine should display.
Okay, absolutely. Right, that is true. Except for the fact that a lot of the same elements are only small percentages of the output. Here's the thing. Absolutely. These do change the flavor of wine. So if you grow a grape on this side of the road and then another acre on the other side, you make wines with them, they're going to be a little bit different. There's no arguing that point. But it's going to be such a slight difference that it's going to be negligible. Now, the biggest difference of any wine is actually the bacterial load. Now, this is what we know. I believe in science. I do. I believe in what we can prove, what we can show. And one of the things we can show consistently is that if you are fermenting with native yeasts, you are going to have a very specific flavors. That's only going to be replicated if you have those specific native yeasts. We've replicated all those native yeasts, and you can buy them. I can buy any yeast, almost, anywhere in the world. And if I can't buy it, I can actually contract someone to make it for me. So I can take those yeast, that bacteria load, the yeast load, replicate that anywhere in the world. And I have done this for once we have like advanced sommeliers coming in, that've been with us for a long time, that that they're like in the last final year of classes. Sometimes they get cocky, and I've had students who just like at the end they are really good, but they still feel like they know the differences. What I'll do is I'll pull a bottle of white Burgundy, a really beautiful one, a Montrachet, and then I will grab another bottle from Australia. And it's actually a French winemaker who's used the identical same techniques from Montrachet, but also he's imported and uses only those yeasts. That wine is identical. When you have them tasted blind, you can't tell the difference.
Okay, Keith. So as you're talking, I am picturing some very specific French winemakers.
Yes.
And their faces are turning more and more red with every word.
Yes.
At this point, they would definitely just throw you out of their winery. So what would those folks counter? What would they say to you that you might be missing?
Most winemakers behind the scenes, when we talk together, we will all admit these things. We'll all admit that we will talk sometimes about place and how great it is, but we'll also have an understanding that the majority of things that we're doing, the yeast we're using, the techniques we're using, how we're harvesting, everything, how whether you green harvest or not, how you prune, all these things have a much larger effect than place. We'll all admit that in private. We can't do that in public because the public at large really wants to know why they're spending $150 for this Cabernet from this specific vineyard and $20 for another. Like, they have to have a reason other than it's more expensive because more people want it, or it's more exclusive, there's less of it. Like, they don't want to hear economics of winemaking. They want to hear there's a real specific difference in somehow its soul. They don't want to hear about clonal differences, which is another huge difference. Mm-hmm. But, okay, let me get back to this. I'm sorry. You asked me about terroir.
Just do it.
No one should ever ask me about terroir.
This is a one and done.
Keith is grumpy. He gets to talk about things he hates. Oh, podcast. Oh, no. So, when everything else is equal, if we separate out all our techniques and all the things we do to make wines, there will always be some wines that we can't explain why they're great. There will always be, and I agree with that. Like, that is true. That there's always going to be a space for terroir, true terroir. There is something that our science, our knowledge, maybe it will in the future, but right now it can't identify. We do know that we have AI that's starting to identify variations in things that we didn't even notice. And we may have that there is in fact these elements, these differences. Now,
from a bottle that can be traced back to a specific
exactly. That's exactly right. Mm-hmm. So this is true. This is absolutely true. Now, but the thing is that is always going to be a tiny percentage of wines. And it's better to actually say terroir is bullshit. To say most of what we're hearing when people use that term is not true. That allows us to really open ourselves up for the moment when it is true. Because there have been moments where, even though I've been teaching about wine, training professionals for 20 years, and I went to school for winemaking. I was a winemaker for a good long time. Like, I know so much, but I still always learn more, true, but there's always this moment. There's always one every 4 or 5 years I have a wine, like, I don't know why this is so great. Like, I know everything they're doing. I can taste all that, but there's something else. There's this one spark here. There's one amazing, beautiful thing that's here that I don't know why it's here. And it lifts me up in such joy. It's like reading, the 10 Commandments. Like, the first time you look at that and you're the first person to look at it like, oh, really? Neighbor's ass? What? But that thing, that moment of revelation, whatever it is for everybody, whatever that moment is, that aha, that thing, And I get to have that because I know what it isn't. And I think that's very important too.
And I just want to say something that happens every year in the winemaking class,
Yes.
and I think is absolutely fascinating, is, and you'll say this, that there are some people who, for whatever reason, you've literally said the yeast is happy when they're there.
Yeah.
So there is this ephemeral side to things, simply that we haven't quantified everything. We don't understand everything. And I think yeast could be pulled towards certain energies or whatever it is. So there's so much that we don't know.
That's true too. That's really true. And you're right. I do say that because it's true. Some people just have that thing.
I've heard it.
They're nearby and it's always interesting. And it's somebody you don't expect it to
Right.
be. And you're like, oh, is that because you're a good person?
I
Like,
don't think that.
I trust dogs and yeast to tell me who's good and who's bad in the world.
I actually think it has nothing to do with that. Whatever it is.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Maybe it's just what kind of laundry detergent they use.
Well,
Okay.
I think we've arrived at a place that you've definitely put your view out there,
Yeah.
but also left room for the mystery. And I think why we are so passionate when something is amazing, because it does feel like a miracle.
Oh, yeah. Every time I make wine, even with my students, teaching them how to make wine, it's amazing. It's such, I know all the science, but the fact is that when it happens, it just feels like magic every time. It is so wonderful. The experience, I'll never trade it. But it's just like being fully vetted into the world and not expecting it to be magic, but it still feels like magic. And that's wonderful. It always should be like magic. Now, speaking of magic,
Lovely. Yes.
speaking of magic that is created by completely and utterly precise winemaking.
After Wine School is proudly supported by the National Wine School, the gold standard in professional wine certifications. Whether you're dreaming of a career in the wine industry or just eager to take your wine knowledge to the next level, the National Wine School has you covered. Their programs are trusted, rigorous, and designed for aspiring wine pros like you. Visit wineschool.us to learn more and start your journey today.
Currently, we do have a very special wine today. We are trying a Sancerre, and this is a wonderful producer, Henri Bourgeois.
Ooh.
The bottle that we have is Le Côte de Mont d'Année.
Nice.
Let's see if you could pour that for us, Keith.
All right. Well, I'm not going to have to.
Magic. Thank you.
The magic of the internets. Oh, fantastic. Oh, this is fun. All right. I do love Sancerre.
I
So,
love Sancerre.
can we gently
Sure.
cheers?
Cheers.
There we are. All right. Now, let's give this a nice swirl. Everyone should know their S's: see, swirl, sniff, sip, all that. All right. So, all right. Precise winemaking. Now, I'm old enough to remember when Sancerre just smelled like cat pee. Like, I remember that.
Yeah, you do mention that.
Yeah, I do. They changed how they made wine. They now, instead of allowing your bunches to be covered by leaves, they actually make sure to strip them out, which decreases your amount of pyrazine in your grapes. Sunlight does break it down.
Right.
And then, in that cat pee smell, anyone who's ever had a cat, have you ever had a cat?
I have not.
You know that male cat pee smell, like when they're marking the territory. Oh my God, it's nasty. But yeah, Sancerre used to have that. People used to like that. And I did not. I really did not.
I thought it was New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc had the really...
Oh, they did. They had the same problem,
Okay.
but Sancerre did it way before
Oh,
them.
okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah. No, they were not. And then when they, over the last, 30 years, they've really cleaned up their winemaking.
Got it.
Yep. But yeah, no, New Zealand had that when they started out. It was gross too.
So what are we smelling, Keith?
All right. So when you have a low level of pyrazine, they're using it like as a master painter. Like you're leaving that little bit of greenness as freshness underneath. So it is really smelling more floral. And what are you getting? I mean, you're probably getting the same floral. How would you expand on that?
I get white floral notes, almost like a tea rose, one of those
Tea rose?
Yeah,
What is that?
the heirloom roses that actually have fragrance.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
really, really lovely. I mean, there's also for me lemongrass, some underripe like peaches,
Oh, yeah.
white plum.
It's nice because there's this very serious, herbaceous, but floral note underneath. But then on top of it is this nice fruit, but it's that slightly underripe, but also a little bit of underripe green apple, too.
Yes,
I
yes.
really like this.
Lots of minerality.
Oh, yeah.
Always
Oh,
minerality.
Yeah. When we taste this, you can say, I can taste the potassium. Because one of the things about the soil structure here is that they do have a surprising amount of potassium in their soils, which actually is one of the few things that actually, it's the nutrients that they live on. And so you can actually have a slightly increase of potassium in these wines, and it makes the wines even taste more acidic than they actually are. They're very acidic, but yeah, so if anyone wants to be a real douchebag, you can say potassium.
Before we take a sip,
Yeah.
for anybody out there with misophonia, I think we should come up with a cue, maybe earmuffs, something
Yeah.
to let folks know if
Yeah.
you get triggered by the sound
Oh,
of someone taking a sip. Earmuffs. Just hold your ears, skip over this
All right.
really quickly because we are going to take a sip.
I'm going to take a sip, and I'm going to make really loud.
Don't, because I have misophonia.
It's going to sound like I'm gargling Drano. All right, let's do this. Okay.
Oh, that's delightful.
Oh, my God. I love this because it's not fruit forward. I love it. It's like white tea and jasmine.
I was going to say yes.
Oh my God. This is sort of,
Yeah.
it's that minerality element that's there, but it's really intense. Like you are licking granite. I mean, it is like, I can feel it on my tongue. There's this wonderful texture.
That's the texture really comes through. It's almost like it has a hint of skin contact, even though I know this doesn't, but there is a little bit of a waxiness it's precise and beautiful.
Yeah. This is where, like, bringing up terroir, that's why I brought up the potassium, because it's expert. Do not diminish this winery's skill to beautifully interpret this place into this. This is such a modern, beautiful wine that just really does also reflect where it's from. And that's true. Terroir is in the soul.
Terroir is in the soul.
It's how we describe science. Maybe that's what it is, or how we engineer wines to reflect the place we love.
That's beautiful, Keith.
Oh, we're winding down.
At least there's glass.
Oh, I am actually... Okay, first off, before we finish, I just want to know, what would you like to have with this bottle? I have some ideas.
Okay.
Well, okay, here's the thing. I really think that haddock,
Oh.
like a really classic dish. Okay, so this is just like, we're bringing a little bit of like northern New England to Sancerre. So baked haddock, just a little bit with chives, butter, and just a squeeze, that's just a little bit of squeeze of lemon. Just a squeeze of lemon. That old school way where it's not even close to being underdone. It's like done almost to the point where it's dry, but it's still, because there's enough butter. It's almost a burnt noisette, like it's a burnt butter right on top. That's what I want. That is where, and then having this as that counterbalance.
Do you know what I want with this?
No.
What's that Thai salad with the bird peppers?
Oh, is it like the papaya salad?
Yes. Wouldn't that be good?
That'd be really good.
Like level 10? It could,
No.
but that would be really delicious.
Yeah, and because the papaya in that is always underripe. It would have to be a very toned down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where my mind goes.
I love that idea.
Let us know what you think, and we'll see you next time.
And hey, if you have any questions you want us to talk about, you want to recommendations, anything at all, look, put it in the notes. Make sure you subscribe. Tell your friends that you actually ran into us, that you heard this, you like it. Love to have as many people listening to us as possible so that we can spread the gospel of just basically being batshit insane. Me, and then Alana being the normal person. That's, I think, really a good idea.
Just more medicated.
More Oh, God, can I have some? I need some. Now.
Okay.
Cheers, folks.
Thanks for spending time with us on After Wine School. If you enjoyed today's episode, hit subscribe so you never miss out on more wine wisdom, tips, and laughs. Until next time, raise your glass, savor the moment, And cheers to you.